Hi, I'm Alan, and this is a video. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to more Galvatron. Today is that time of the year again. EVW has just announced his new hardest demon, Digital Descent, and as I always do whenever he goes for something that is currently harder than his hardest, and I've beaten it, I go through it in practice mode, give him some tips and tricks, and hopefully teach you guys something. I've done this with Bloodbath, I've done it with Phobos, I've done it with Artificial Ascent, and here we are with DD doing the exact same thing, and the videos do come in handy for a lot of you guys as well, so I feel like it's just a smart thing to do. I think it's a very popular level. EVW usually goes for the popular levels, so it's a video that comes in handy. So we're just gonna go through it. I have a lot to say about this level, by the way. For those of you who aren't aware, I do think this is easier than Artificial Ascent because of some of the tricks that I use for stuff like Etzer and Devin. So hopefully this video does come in handy. But anyway, without any more diddle-daddling along, let's just hop right into it. Now, so the thing about Digital Descent, right? It is one of those levels that there's a lot of know-how to every time. As I was saying, there's a lot of know-how to the hard parts in this level, right? You just kind of like have to know exactly what to do. Anyway, I've only played this once in practice mode before this recording, just to like freshen myself up a little bit. So terribly sorry if anything. Anyway, these first few parts are very trivial. Nazgub's ship part is a little tiny bit tricky. I will admit, I do think this ship part is pretty hard. Even if you did say you didn't have much trouble with it. However, it's just ship control. There's not really much I can say about it. It's just control your ship. Just learn click patterns to enter things, right? Like for instance, this part, right? Just learn a click pattern like 1, 2, 3, like there, 1, 2, 3, and then you can fall down just so you like learn those portal transitions. Those portal transitions, very easy to mess up. But anyway, on to the first part that I feel like EVW and just people in general need help with. Right here, as you can see here, if we go into speed hack, if you just fall down and buffer this click right here, you will 100% of the time make this gap. Like so, right? So to make this click extremely trivial from something that's previously pretty tight, just buffer, and there you go, like so. Here, I want to preface that people don't really think this duel is very hard. However, it is a thing that you can die to. Controlling the ship and the wave at the same time, it is kind of tricky. My recommendation, just jump. You become a double wave. It makes that duel incredibly trivial. You will never die to it. Like, compared to the normal route where you go ship wave and you die to it like maybe 1 out of 10, dying to it that 1 out of 10 times is really frustrating because the beginning of this level, as EVW said, isn't really that hard. So by doing this and jumping right into the portal, becoming the double wave, it becomes extremely easy. If you do it correctly, your waves basically just like completely overlay each other. The later you jump from that platform, the more overlaid your wave is. That is just a single regular wave. If you jump really late, oh, you're just a regular wave. You just go normal wave through that. It's very easy, very simple. I highly recommend doing it. Even though it kind of like takes away the challenge from it, I still recommend doing it just because why would you make it harder for yourself? Like, really? Abstract Dark's part is one of those parts that's just like, you'll die to it occasionally just because why wouldn't you? Like EVW said, Semifine's part is really easy. However, I do want to like preface that you should probably pay a little bit of attention while playing this part because I always found Semifine's part to have like a little bit of nuance to it because of the fact that on high refresh rate you can't really hold throughout that ship. If I show here. On high refresh rate, you can't hold through the ship. So there's a little tiny bit of nuance to this, while still being very easy. It is definitely the part in the beginning that I personally died the most to. Mostly because of these two orbs. These two orbs are absolutely horrible and I hate them. But anyway. You can, though, technically speaking, you can just, like, do one click there. I don't really recall how consistent that is, but if you hit it late enough, it becomes like very consistent. So you can just do one click. The only issue with doing one click is the fact that this can happen where you don't go far enough. So keep that in mind if you want to do one click. If not, just practice this part. It's a little bit of brute force. I never liked this part though. This is like one of my least favorite parts, like gameplay wise. So keep that in mind. I always found this part to be hard. I don't know what it is. Anyway, over to Maddox's part. Maddox's part has a couple tricks to it to make it like really trivial. One of which is that little spider duel. What you do here, right? You don't actually have to be in the air when you hit this pink dash orb. So you just kind of like do that. Then you fall down, hit the black orb, and then you just buffer. You go up here, click, buffer, and then you're onto the ship part. So this beginning here to Maddox is like extremely easy. And this ship part isn't really that hard either. It's just there is a very distinct click pattern to it. As for this green portal, as you saw there, I died to the transition. Basically what you want to do is just don't go up. You want to have like a little bit of downward momentum going into that, or just go into it low. Viprin's part as well. I find Viprin's part to be like somewhat trivial, but it's definitely a part that you will die to. I found Viprin to be like a part that I died a weird amount to. I don't know why. It just kind of is, you know? You know when you have that one part that you just die to and you don't really understand why? That was Viprin and DD for me. I recommend not spamming through that wave. I would just go 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 like so, just so you have like some control over it, because it's very easy to just mess that up if you're just spamming. You can even go 1 2. I go 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 like so. And then we get into this part. Even though we specified that he struggled with this one click. These orbs right here. These orbs are, for very many people, a very hard thing to do. However, I want to teach you a way to make this the most consistent part of all of Devon. As you can see here, on this little block right here, there's a tiny gap that you can land on. And you might be wondering to yourself, but Aeon, landing on that from hitting the blue orb sounds like it's going to be impossible. And that's when I say no, it isn't. It's very easy. What you want to do, basically, is just hit the blue orb late. You go here, jump, and do that, right? Like, obviously, I'm doing it in slow speed, so I'm making it look like super easy. But as you can see, I haven't played this level since I beat this in like January of 2021. That's almost a year and a half ago. And I'm doing it every attack. It's extremely trivial. Just hit the blue orb late. It's really not that hard. It's kind of like one of those parts that's just like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? That's so much easier. It's one of those clicks that I feel like you can figure out by yourself if you kind of like inspect how the part looks, right? Because if you notice, if you take a look at it and notice the corner here, you're like, oh, maybe I can land on that. And then you try landing on it, and then you do it like 25 times in a row, and you're like, oh my god, that's so easy. That was how it was for me. And it made, I personally think, the thing that makes me think that DD is much easier than Artificial is the fact that I never struggled with Devin because of the fact that I found that. Everyone struggles with those 3 orbs. Skipping the pink orb makes this part incredibly trivial. Like, getting to this part, super easy. Devin's part, really not that hard. The wave is a little bit tricky. It's one of those parts that you just kind of like have to brute force to go down here. I imagine there being a spike here, so I just go 1 and then 2, and then there's, as you can see right here, there's a portal here. You just kind of like bam, bam. You just go 1, 2, click this, and then 1, 2. So this part is more or less just brute forcing. You just kind of like have to brute force the memory for this wave part, but it's just 1, 2. Like so. It's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be. I thought this wave was like impossible at first, and then I just practiced it for a while, and it ends up getting very consistent. I never found this wave to be like that hard. It was the one thing I died to in Devin, I will admit. Like, it was definitely the one thing that actually like killed me. But as you can see, you do get rather consistent with it, like really quickly. You just have to like know the amount of space you have. You don't really click as fast as you would think. Like, listen to my clicks. And as you may have seen there, when I went into Etzer, I did not hit the green orb. Do not hit the green orb. So what I do for Etzer, and the way that I made it consistent, is that I jump right around here. These 2 blocks right here in the middle of them. When my cube barely passes this, I just light tap it and jump so I don't have a lot of upwards momentum with my ship. And then I skip the thing here. I entirely skip that and just hold a little bit, right? You jump, skip the green orb, hold, and then you release, and then you just do 1 singular tap. This wave is 1 click and 1 click only, and it makes it very consistent once you get the timing for it. The hardest part of it is clicking early enough to where you don't hit the wall while simultaneously not hitting the green orb, okay? That is the hardest part about it. As you can see there, I hit the green orb by accident. So it's just a matter of like getting the timings down for this, but I think personally that skipping this green orb makes this part much easier, like significantly easier. I was never able to pass it using the green orb. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. If I had to hit the green orb and I couldn't do the skip that I'm doing right now, I don't think I would have been able to beat this level, because I sat on that green orb for like 35 minutes. I could not pass it like at all, right? But doing this, I managed to get to a point with like consistency where I would pass it I would pass it 4 out of 5 times basically. And when I was beating this, I would never die to this from 0. So just do this. It makes your life way easier. Actually, upon further inspection, you want to jump a little bit past the middle here, like here roughly. You want to be almost past it entirely. So jump on the second block. That's what you want to do. So line yourself up by jumping on the second block, and then easy part. Like, it's still gonna be a challenge in a lot of ways, but yeah, just being able to learn and get consistent with this skip in particular, it makes this part so much more bearable. I think Lugia's part is probably like the second hardest or the hardest part of the level. I don't know what it is, but Lugia's part is just like skill-wise really difficult. So this is just the part that you kind of like have to brute force. But it's a consistent part, but it's definitely like a nerve hell, right? Because of the fact that you've just passed probably what most people consider the hardest part. I didn't really get much nervous here because of the fact that, well, as I just said, I think Devin and Etzer are like severely overrated in terms of difficulty because of the skips and the tricks that I use for it. But this is definitely a part that requires a lot of technical skill with ship especially. Like, you need a lot of ship control to be able to do that properly. As for Laser Blitz part, this part is like very trivial. The only thing you will ever die to probably is this little first ship part. Once you pass it, you're basically good to go. I died past it like twice, or past this ship part into Laser Blitz part twice because I'm stupid. But other than that, Laser Blitz part is really not that hard because there's a lot of like buffers. As for this ball part, you can do the cheaty way of this. And what you can do is like just do that. You buffer the red orb, buffer the green orb, and you will always get the same result. The only reason why I didn't do this personally is because I would just sometimes get nervous and just not buffer the red orb and hit it like really late. And what would happen then is that you would sometimes die, which got really annoying. So you can do this if you want to, but it really doesn't change much from just doing it the regular way. Both ways are super consistent. The only thing that you save yourself is from a singular click. As for this part, Galvatron's part, I always found to be the hardest part. This part is like ridiculously hard for me for some reason. My only tips for this is to just limit how much you click. I go 1, 2. Like, I just click like 4 times in this. Like, I go 1, 2, then readjust myself for that click, and then go 1, 2. So I go 1, 2, 1, 2, like so. As for this wave, skip the pink orb. The pink dash orb is really unnecessary. It just makes it harder for no reason. I find this part to be really hard for some reason. I cannot explain why. Carmilla was always like one of the hardest parts for me. And everyone and their mother laughs at me for saying that Carmilla's part is hard. The reason why I found it as hard as it is because there is surprisingly little room here. And these little like jut ups right here, these little spikes, they just made for like the weirdest clicks of all time. And I don't know why. I just found it really hard. I'm like the only person ever to find them hard. And I also had the hardest time ever just hitting those orbs. As for the trigger orbs, you can hit them very high up. Don't be afraid to try and hit them kind of high, just so that you're able to actually like get them. Because if we go here, as you can see here, the hitboxes for them are very large. Like, they are outside of the actual orb that you can see. So the hitbox for these orbs are very, very massive. So you shouldn't really feel that afraid to just like try and go for them early. So as long as you just like kind of enter them, it should be fine. Because I always found that it was very easy to just mess up the second click, which made it really hard for me to like get up into these waves in time. Enter this portal high. Always enter this portal going up, because otherwise you die. Because if you watch here, like that, you will always hit this. So you have to move upwards into this portal. Otherwise, that jump is, or that little transition is literally impossible. At first, when I started playing this level, learning this level for myself, I thought that was just a bug, and I was kind of frustrated with it. But no, it was just me being stupid. The last part, another rather trivial part, in all honesty. You just kind of like have to fly. The transition into Surpunjab, do not underestimate it. The transition into Surpunjab is weirdly difficult. It's so easy to mess up Surpunjab's part because you just think it's such a trivial part overall. Go low and click early, then go like very late on that green orb. Not that late, but it's such an easy part to mess up. Like Surpunjab's part itself is like really easy, right? Like, I don't think anyone will ever deny that. But transitioning into it, it's so easy to mess it up. I died to Surpunjab one time because of the fact that I just underestimated how hard the transition was. And I just got a very bad pattern into it. So keep that in mind. These 3 orbs, they're impossible. You're just kind of like at a brute force speed with this. I don't know how I didn't die to it, personally. Oh, I forgot the green orb, lol. Don't forget that green orb. Don't do like me, please. Hit this. Once you get to Rustam's part, don't really celebrate yet. I feel like Rustam's part is like kind of underrated in terms of difficulty. I always found Rustam's part to be like, honestly, kind of hard. For the love of God, Eric, I saw it in your video. Don't try and jump this triple spike normally, please. Because if we go here, those triple spikes move down so ungodly fast. You can literally jump there and live. You can jump immediately as you get out of that and still live. You basically never see anyone die to that triple spike other than trying to jump it late. Please do us all a favor and save us the butt clench and just jump super early. Look at how early I'm jumping. I am jumping 3 full blocks before the triple spike and I'm still making it. Do us all a favor, please. Don't try and time the triple spike. You can jump so late. I beg of you. You are gonna die to the triple spike if you try and time it because of the moving bull crap. So just do us all a favor and do that. Just jump like a block or 2 early. Save yourself the trouble of dying to the triple spike. It is literally impossible to die to if you jump early enough. Look at that. It's please. Pretty much the last thing I have to say though. Anyway, DD, I'm not a huge fan of the level. As I said, I do think it's easier than Artificial, so I don't really think you're gonna have a hard time with it. However, it really depends on how much you manage to grasp Devin and Etzer, but hopefully my tips with Devin and Etzer do give you enough guidance to where it should make them rather trivial. I believe you can do it, honestly. I don't think this is gonna take you too long. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys at home as well got some help with DD, as I do believe that this is a level that a lot of people do tend to go for. This is a very popular new hardest for many people, so hopefully this will come in handy for all of you aspiring list grinders out there. So good luck to you guys and good luck to EVW with this level. I truly do believe that you're gonna shred through this in no time. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that. You guys know the drill by now. Thank you for making my day better. Hope yours a little bit better too. Eat your green, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and good luck to everyone trying this level. Peace out, everyone.